The world did not end in a single day. It ended step by step, city by city, scream by scream. When the giants first appeared, humanity believed its armies could stop them. Missiles filled the skies, tanks rolled across continents, entire nations united for war, but nothing mattered because these creatures were not just bigger than humans, they were unstoppable. Giants taller than skyscrapers walked through cities like storms made of flesh and stone, crushing millions beneath their feet while the sky burned red from endless explosions. Within months, civilization collapsed completely. Countries vanished, oceans filled with wreckage, and every surviving human disappeared underground, hoping the monsters would eventually leave. But they never did. Years later, only 3 humans remain alive inside a dying bunker hidden beneath frozen ruins. Ava spends her nights listening to giant footsteps shaking the ceiling above them, while Marcus desperately repairs machines that barely function anymore. Elias, the oldest survivor, keeps replaying old recordings of normal life because he refuses to forget what humanity once sounded like. But hope is dying fast. Food is nearly gone, oxygen systems are failing, and something terrifying has started happening outside. The giants are gathering, thousands of them surrounding the bunker at once like they somehow know humans are hiding below. Ava checks the surface cameras and her blood runs cold when she sees a giant unlike anything before. Its body glows with molten cracks while black armor covers its skin. But the worst part is its face because unlike the other monsters, this one looks intelligent. Slowly, the giant turns toward the hidden camera beneath the snow and smiles directly at it. Seconds later, the bunker shakes violently as something massive strikes the ground above them. Alarms begin screaming through the corridors while dust rains from the ceiling. Marcus panics and says the giants found them, but Elias suddenly remembers an unfinished military project from before humanity collapsed. Scientists discovered the giants were vulnerable to a powerful sound frequency capable of disrupting their nervous systems. A machine called the Echo Core was built to broadcast that frequency, but civilization fell before it could ever be completed. Deep beneath the bunker, the prototype still exists. Ava realizes this may be humanity's final chance. The 3 survivors descend into abandoned sections of the underground facility where old generators sit buried beneath rust and darkness. Every hallway feels like a graveyard of the old world, covered in faded warnings and abandoned belongings left behind during the apocalypse. Eventually, they reach the Echo Core chamber, a giant machine surrounded by broken computers and hanging cables. Marcus manages to restore partial power, but there's a problem. The machine must be activated from a transmission tower located on the surface several kilometers away, and the tunnels leading there are no longer safe. Armed with flashlights and old weapons, the survivors begin moving through collapsed underground passageways filled with silence so heavy it feels unnatural. They pass old subway stations packed with abandoned suitcases and skeletons frozen where people once tried escaping the invasion. Then suddenly horrifying screams echo through the darkness. Pale, infected creatures crawl across the walls toward them with twisted limbs and glowing eyes. Humans mutated after exposure to giant spores years ago. Ava opens fire while Marcus fights them off with a metal pipe, but during the chaos, one infected creature bites Elias deeply in the shoulder before Marcus kills it. Elias hides the wound and forces everyone to keep moving. Eventually, they reach a ladder leading toward the surface. Ava pushes open the hatch, and for the first time in years, moonlight touches her face. The world above is dead. Endless ruined cities stretch across frozen wastelands, while giant silhouettes move through the storms like walking mountains. In the distance, millions of giants stand completely still, all facing the same direction. The bunker. Marcus whispers that they were waiting for the last humans to appear. Then Elias finally reveals the infection spreading through his body. Black veins crawl beneath his skin while his hands begin shaking uncontrollably. Ava refuses to leave him behind, but Elias knows he doesn't have much time left. He gives Marcus explosives from his bag and tells them to finish what humanity started. Then he seals the tunnel hatch behind them and disappears back into the darkness alone. Ava and Marcus sprint across the frozen wasteland toward the transmission tower while giant footsteps thunder around them. Suddenly, one giant notices movement and unleashes a roar so powerful. Shattered glass explodes across the ruins. Instantly, the entire giant army begins moving. The chase becomes absolute chaos. Giants crash through buildings behind them while the ground breaks apart beneath every massive step. Marcus nearly gets crushed by a giant hand slamming into the street beside him, but Ava drags him forward just before another building collapses. They finally reach the tower and force their way inside while giants surround the structure from every direction. As Marcus reconnects the systems below, Ava climbs higher toward the antenna controls. Outside, the giant king approaches inches slowly through the storm while molten cracks glow brighter across its body. Deep underground, Elias reaches the bunker reactor while infected creatures close in around him. His body continues mutating from the infection, but he activates the reactor anyway, overloading it manually and sending massive power directly into the echo core. The entire tower lights up as an enormous sound pulse erupts across the wasteland. Instantly, millions of giants freeze in place. Some collapse to their knees screaming while black smoke pours from their eyes and mouths. For one impossible moment, it looks like humanity has finally won. But then the giant king stands back up completely unaffected. Marcus realizes the horrifying truth. The king controls the others through some kind of shared connection. As long as it lives, the giants will continue evolving forever. And the tower only has enough energy left for one final blast. Ava understands what must happen. She locks Marcus inside the control room and climbs onto the tower's outer platform while freezing winds tear across the sky. Below her, the last giant army on Earth rises once again. Ava aligns the antenna directly toward the giant king while the tower begins collapsing around her. Marcus screams through the radio begging her to come back, but Ava quietly says humanity was never about surviving forever. It was about refusing to surrender. Then she activates the overload. A blinding beam of energy explodes from the tower straight into the giant king's skull. The monster lets out a roar that shakes the entire world before its body erupts into molten fire. Instantly, every giant across the horizon freezes. One by one, they collapse like statues across ruined cities and frozen oceans. Millions of monsters crashing into the earth together. The war is finally over, but the tower cannot survive the overload. It collapses into flames as Marcus watches helplessly below. Hours later, the world becomes silent for the first time in years. No footsteps, no screams, just wind moving through the ruins of civilization. Marcus walks alone through the snow at sunrise, carrying Ava's recorder in his hands. For the first time since the invasion began, sunlight breaks through the clouds. Humanity is almost gone, but not completely. Marcus activates the recorder and broadcasts one final message across the silent earth. He tells anyone still alive that the giants are dead. And somewhere far beyond the ruins, a faint radio signal answers back.